the Evening Standard Theatre Awards. This was a dying spot on London's social calendar, which Evgeny had resuscitated, for reasons that were clear to someone who gatecrashed them. Nimrod Kamer, a self-described professional social climber, who we'll hear more from later. Here's what Nimrod thought of the awards.
Award ceremonies are the method that get the most people to suck up to you, because you just give awards. And I'm pretty sure he was the one deciding who to give the awards to. It wasn't a professional committee. It was just his decision who he wanted to be friends with.
In 1 year, 3 of the 5 independent judges on the committee resigned because the starrer Helen Mirren was declared the best actor despite her barely figuring in the judging decisions, and despite none of them having voted for her. So would the man who described himself to me as a professional social climber, Nimrod Kamer.
This is the peak. When you live in London, there's nowhere higher to reach than being in Lebedev's parties.
Nimrod's a writer from Israel. He moved to London about a decade ago and was starstruck by its world of members' clubs, exclusive events and social codes. He made it his mission to break in.
And one of the first events I happened to snuck into, that's my hobby, sneaking into parties, was the Evening Standard Theatre Awards.
I chatted to him over a pint of lager at the Grapes pub by the river in Limehouse in East London.
I'll show you later. It's for 2 people. It's really cargo.
It's the pub that Evgeny bought with Ian McKellen and McKellen's then partner.
I came in somehow mumbling some names on the guest list that I knew were inside of saying I'm their +1. I met so many people inside, from the Vogue editor, Lady Anna Wintour. She was sat with Lebedev. I have a picture from then, 2012 it was. I just walked up and I wondered who was in the front table. It was Lebedev, Anna Wintour. Anna Wintour's son was there, Stephen Fry. And they were all sitting next to this cool 29, 30 years old, I think he was back then. And I took a selfie with him. So from that moment forward, I knew that I have to sneak into each and every party, and I started to understand the calendar of the parties, the Christmas party in London, the summer party. Annually, I always try to get in there.
Sometimes Nimrod's attempts worked. Sometimes they didn't. I've spoken to countless people who went to Evgeny's parties and events, people with an invite, but few would agree to be interviewed. Despite his surprise at the event, Matthew Norman was invited to the party. And for once, so was professional social climber Nimrod Kamer.
My big break came when, after the Brexit referendum in 2016, Lily Allen, who became my friend suddenly by DMing me, she said there's a party at Lebedev's house. She said she could take me with her. We go in really early to this wonderful country house around Richmond, and the only people standing are Nigel Farage, Rupert Murdoch, and Sadiq Khan, and then Lebedev bringing drinks to them.
Lebedev brought drinks to them.
Yeah, he brought drinks. He was in a home vibe, the way he dressed, as opposed to Nigel Farage, who was over the top with British flag shoes, and Rupert Murdoch like it was a Miami party. So here is the Lily Allen and Sadiq when I came in, and here with me before I spoke to Rupert and Nigel. Lebedev is behind Rupert, they can't see him.
Lily Allen was at the time an object of Evgeny's fascination. One of her friends says that Evgeny even suggested they get married. That's why he invited her to Stud House, his bodyguard warning her not to make a scene.
You take a quick picture.
Went off to the loo, and as I came out, Lily Allen was staggering about, taking pictures and live tweeting. And
This is the official leave party, no? There's no leave parties. Yeah, no one ever celebrated. Just pretended to do a selfie with Murdoch and Farage, but actually took a video.
I've watched the video. You can see Lily Allen grinning in sunglasses, smartly dressed waiters holding trays of champagne flute, a huge flower arrangement, and Rupert Murdoch and Nigel Farage looking like the cats that got the cream.
Oh, here there's another. This is me and Ian McKellen in the tent during the lunch. Patrick Stewart. This is a famous person, I can't remember his name.
It's hard to get people on the record about Evgeny's parties. For Nimrod, it's all about breaking into them and exposing them. But he never made it to the Lebedev's places in Italy. Matthew Norman did, along with a few of the people from Evgeny's private office. He headed out on a 7 a.m. EasyJet flight, mind, not the private jet Evgeny uses for more illustrious guests. The vodka drinking began that afternoon at Palazzo Terranova. A late supper of fish followed, and the drinking continued.
And by about 5 the next morning, I was thinking, really, I've pretty much had it with this. But it was like being with, if you read books about Princess Margaret on the Caribbean island of Mystique.